You know what, guys? If this Nintendo Direct leak is real, and also other Nintendo Switch 2 rumors that have recently happened do end up coming true, not only will we get a new Animal Crossing, but also a new GameCube Nintendo Switch Online drop. And that's Pokémon Coliseum. Metaphor on the Nintendo Switch 2 also would be huge. I love that game. We'll also hear about Metroid Prime 4, its release date more specifically, and other Nintendo Switch 2 games according to this Nintendo Direct leak. Nintendo 2025 and Nintendo 2026 is going to be an absolute blast, which, by the way, what games do you guys want to see at the next Nintendo Direct? Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the RoboChan Show, where we take the gaming news format that channels like Spawnwave or ALOT do, add a dash of animation and some cool editing on top to bring you your gaming news, leaks, and rumors in a fresh new way. In this video, we are going to talk about some Nintendo Direct leaks that have recently happened when it comes to when this Nintendo Direct is, specifically what month, what games like Metroid Prime 4, a new Animal Crossing, which we haven't seen Animal Crossing in so long, and I'd be very excited if they did do a new Animal Crossing. I mean, there's Metaphor here and a lot of other exciting things, and it's coming from a very unique source that we really don't hear too much from. So overall, the situation is pretty interesting, especially since we're supposed to get more information for Splatoon Raiders, which they teased in their tweet. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. It helps the video reach more viewers when you do, and the better these videos do, the more time I can spend on new backgrounds like this, and of course new animations and videos for you guys. And if you want to see any previews of the animations and how things are going with the backgrounds, I always post them on my Twitter account, which is going to be RoboRob93. With that being said, let's continue with the video. So the Nintendo Switch 2 has been quite the console for me. I'm really enjoying Mario Kart despite what's happening to me in the background that you're watching on screen right now. I mean, 3 red shells and 2 blue shells right as I'm about to approach the finish line. Come on, Nintendo. I have a feeling you guys know exactly when we're about to win the race. But I'm also enjoying other games like Cyberpunk 2077 on the Nintendo Switch 2, which runs really well in handheld mode, shockingly to me. It's a really cool experience, and the game's really fun, of course. But for all the Nintendo Switch 2 excitement I personally feel, I do always wonder what's on the horizon for us Nintendo fans, and a pretty big YouTuber seems to know exactly what is in Nintendo's plans. And as always, guys, remember these could end up being fake. Always remember that when talking about these kind of things. So the person behind this is the YouTube channel Beat 'em Ups, who on his podcast Nintendo Podcast said some pretty interesting things about the next Nintendo Direct. According to him, he says, quote, "There is going to be a Nintendo Direct next month in July." Now, the other person on the podcast asked him how he knew that, and according to Beat 'em Ups, he says he can't say, but both of them knows how he knows. Which means these two have heard that there's gonna be a Nintendo Direct in July. Now, when it comes to the Nintendo Direct, there have been a ton of rumors, leaks, and overall speculation on what exactly is going on with Nintendo and Nintendo Directs. Usually, we do have a June Nintendo Direct, but considering the Switch 2 is a thing now, Nintendo, of course, probably changes a thing here and there. They probably shifted their plan. And now that you've heard this, and I was the same here too, I'm wondering, when is the Nintendo Direct going to be in July? Specifically, what week? Make sure you drop your guesses down in the comment section below. The past couple years, Nintendo has held the June Nintendo Direct in the back half of the month, but remember, we also have a Pokemon Presents next month in July on the 22nd, so this makes me wonder if this is even going to happen in the back half of the month like previous Nintendo Directs. Will we actually see this Nintendo Direct drop in the first half first so that there's room for Pokemon Presents? Or on the flip side, is this just not true because the Presents is in July and Nintendo doesn't want to have both of those in the same month? I think by now we can throw out the idea that Nintendo doesn't do Nintendo Directs close to each other, because they have been doing that for a while now and have done it in the past. I mean, even recently with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct in the previous Directs before that. I'm curious what you guys think about that. Do you think Nintendo would hold those two Nintendo Directs so close to each other, Pokemon Presents and a July Nintendo Direct? Now, as to what games are gonna be there is a lot of games that they talk about on the podcast. The first game he talks about is Metaphor for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer. These type of games fit very well on the Nintendo Switch 2. 2, and Metaphor is such a great game, so I think it fits perfectly on the Nintendo Switch 2. If they do end up bringing this to the Switch 2, I do hope they have some sort of cross-save feature, because I've spent a lot of time on Metaphor. Now, if Metaphor does come to the Nintendo Switch 2, I hope it's not a game keycard. In the podcast, he mentions he's wondering if it's going to be a game keycard. I hope they don't do that. Otherwise, I'll just stick with my PS5 version and maybe rent it for a video and review and thoughts video. Now, the next one is something that gets me really excited when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 Online. GameCube games are a pretty big thing for me personally when it comes to it, and one of those games that I'm really excited and dying to play on the Nintendo Switch Online service is Pokémon Coliseum. Now, he said Pokémon Coliseum is going to be one of these shadow drops, which means we're going to be getting it on that day on that Nintendo Direct, I'm assuming, because when it comes to shadow drops, that's basically what they are. They drop it from the shadows. As far as Pokemon XD Gale Darkness goes, though, he's saying that they're going to be doing one at a time and that game is going to be coming later. I'm really hoping that they end up adding the Beautiful Joe games on the Nintendo Switch Online service, and of course games like iNinja, if anyone remembers that game. I have very fond memories of that game. It's one of those games that I think a lot of people have forgotten about or just never played, but I remember it. And moving on to the next Nintendo Direct leak, according to Beat 'em Ups, Death Stranding Collector's Cut S is heading to the Nintendo Switch. I've never actually played this game, so let me know if it's worth trying. I've heard it's a really fantastic game, but I've also heard people say that it's just a walking simulator, so I'm not even sure myself. And as I stated before, my back catalog is pretty long because I take a long time to finish games, so I gotta pick and choose which ones I'm playing. If it's worth playing, maybe I'll check it out. The next one is pretty interesting, and I'm really curious on how CD Projekt Red ends up doing this. How would they price this game? And that's Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Now, we know for people who own Witcher 3 on PS5 and PS4, the next gen upgrade was free, if I recall correctly. So I'm really curious to see if that upgrade is gonna actually be free. We don't really know until this ends up coming true or not true, but even if all of this is fake, we don't get that July Nintendo Direct, I have a feeling there's probably gonna be some upgrades for the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to Witcher 3. Now, on the podcast, when he was asked if it's gonna cost like $10 or something, he says he doesn't know, but as he's saying that, he is nodding his head, so I'm not sure if that was on purpose or is he like alluding that it's gonna cost $10. I don't know. It's up to you guys to decide. There's really no definitive answer in the podcast. Now, he does add that cross-save and cross-play will be added, which I think makes a lot of sense. That was also with Cyberpunk 2077, and it's fantastic sense whether you own it on the PS5 or Nintendo Switch 2. If you do want to get it on the other console, you're still able to carry your save over. Quite honestly, I wish more developers would actually do this now that they are doing these kind of things now. The special editions, upgrades, you know, the next generation versions of different games when a new console comes out. I wish more cross saves would be available across the board when it comes to new games, and of course older games too. And next up is really exciting. This is something that I think is going to get you guys really excited. Let me know how hyped you are if this ends up being true. So according to him, Animal Crossing is going to be shown as the but wait, there's more. And according to him, it's going to be a 2026. Now apparently it's just going to be like a title card. There's not going to be any gameplay or anything. So it sounds as though this is very early in development, but I'm really excited if Animal Crossing ends up getting a new game in the series. I mean, we know there's going to be a new game in the series, let's be honest here, but the fact that it's being announced at a Nintendo Direct is just really exciting in and of itself. Just knowing that it exists gets me really excited, I should say. Because what can they do when it comes to the next Animal Crossing? Now, there are some details on a potential Animal Crossing game. I don't know if that's going to end up being true or not, but if this ends up being real, maybe going back and looking at those details that potentially leaked out might be worthwhile. And the last one is for Metroid Prime 4. Apparently, we're supposed to get a release date. Now, he doesn't say exactly what release date it's gonna be, but considering that we had that ad in London that said out now, this Nintendo Direct makes a lot of sense why that ad said. Now, they have since corrected it. It says 2025 now, but this does really make me wonder. The reason why it says out now is maybe because it's gonna be out very soon, and I don't think they would shadow drop it. That would be absolutely insane. There has to be some kind of marketing lead up, right? But like, is there an August release date or September release date for Metroid Prime 4? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these things down in the comment section below. Do you believe him or do you not believe him? Do you think there's gonna be no Nintendo Direct at all? And of course, what is your dream list of games at the next Nintendo Direct? Share them down in the comment section below, because when the next video comes, I might actually reply to them in the video. I think it'd be cool to do like a comment of the day section. So drop those comments in the comment section below and you might be able to have your comment in the video. Thanks for watching, guys. guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.